easy. Speak easy, baby.
What up, though? Welcome back to this. Actually isn't a speakeasy podcast. This is a safe place for Detroit Lions fans. I'm joined by my man Morgan Cannon. What up, though, man?
How's it going, man? Thanks for having me.
That intro always throws people off.
Bar.
Yeah, he's a man.
He's looking pretty smart right now.
Hey, his son's out cold, man.
People gave him a lot of grief, and now he's got. Well, LiAngelo's not. What is he? He had a tryout for the Pistons, but he's not.
Yeah, I think he's with the Hornets G League team, but if I'm not mistaken, he may have just gotten cut.
Yeah, it's probably not going to happen then. Two out of three is good. 2 out of 3 is good, LeVar.
Facts. Honestly, a lot of people hate on him, but like he really just manifested that, like as from their children. Like that's impressive, bro.
No, and Lonzo's good too. Like I give him credit. Like LaMelo's special. Lonzo, has come along really quickly, and he, so yeah. I give him his due.
I got some basketball questions heading in here for you.
Sure.
I'm excited to hit you with. But obviously we're Detroit Lions fans. We're here to talk about the Detroit Lions. First and foremost, I feel like you don't promote yourself enough, man. You actually write for Pride of Detroit, SB Nation.
Yep, I was just going to say, I was going to come out and say, you can catch me at Pride of Detroit, putting out stuff pretty consistently there, learning from some of the best. So, yeah, definitely head over to Pride of Detroit. They have, we have our own podcast there with Jeremy, Ryan, and Chris. Definitely check it out. And it's a good place to what was the word I used earlier? Therapy. Yeah. Safe place.
Facts. We need it too.
Yep.
It's weird because like this is a year I feel like people. I don't need a therapy as much because I saw this coming. You know what I'm saying? But some people are like, people who are saying like 10 wins and stuff like that. Like, I mean, I'm all for it, and obviously I want it to happen. But like, come on, y'all, like tripping.
No, people like the writing had to be on the wall, and that's kind of what I've been talking about lately. Is even before the injuries, right? So I give Brad Holmes credit because that man went, face first, a lot like Troy Weaver. He just, he cut bait with a lot of these really bad contracts, these Justin Coleman's, a lot of these contracts that were basically like albatross around, the team. So 55 million in dead cap, I think they're at now, maybe a little bit more. $56 million in dead money of the 185, I think the salary cap is this year.
You probably know more than me, man.
It's 185 because it's coming back from the COVID year, right? So they're readjusting it, and I think it'll start to climb. But from the revenue losses they incurred in 2020, they had to, mess with the cap a little bit to make it work. So I think it was 185. I'm pretty sure. So 55 million of 185 is dead. That money is being paid towards people who are no longer on the team. And then Frank Ragnow and Romeo Okwara. So if you'd asked me prior to the season, who's the best player on offense and who's the best player on defense, I would have told you Frank Ragnow and Romeo Okwara. And so you kind of know where I'm going with this. So like you said, we knew, but it seems like a lot of people had some ideas in their head, and they're like, wow, this isn't really going how I thought it was going to go.
I got this joke here, all right, not just here, but like all across like Detroit Lions YouTube. It's called Hopium.
Yep.
Stay on. I keep my pipe that I never used.
Hopium. Yeah, man, I would. Look, I mean, I'm hopeful. I mean, that's kind of the thing I'm trying to get across with some of the stuff I'm writing is there's reasons to hope still, and I'm sure we'll get into it. So I'll kind of wait for you to ask some questions there, but there's reasons to hope. I know 0-7 is not fun, but there's reasons to hope.
Yeah. Okay. Speaking of things to hope, and you spoke on Ragnow and Okwara being like our best players before, obviously being injured. Who would you say are fill those roles now that those guys are gone? 7 weeks in.
Well, I mean, best player on offense and defense.
Yeah.
Thus far? Okay, wow, that's tough.
We start with defense because I'm more curious of that one because like there's been some bright spots, some unexpected ones.
So I've been a Tracy Walker fan for a long time.
For real.
I've always thought Tracy Walker was going to be good, and he's possessed all of the physical traits that you need. However, Patricia had him playing a little bit out of position, in my opinion. And I think in his opinion too, if you go back to the beginning of the year, he kind of said some things like, yeah, this works a little better along the line. So I would say Tracy Walker on defense. Alex Anzaloni has been really, really good in terms of like they signed him as like he's on a 1-year deal. He's playing really, really well in coverage. He's getting better against the run. And apparently he's taken a pretty big role in being Derek Barnes' mentor. If you saw something, I think Derek Barnes said something or Anzaloni said something about that. So yeah, I mean, those are two bright spots. Trey Flowers is still a productive pro. He's just paid too much money. So like it's if you took away his like if he was paid $8 million a year, then you'd be like, okay, I can deal with that. But because of what it is, that's it's not really what you want.
Like 18 or 20 million or something like that, or like
I think his AAV, his average annual value is 18 million on that deal. So
yeah.
it's a chunk of change. I think it's like 23 million next year. Honestly, I think his cap hit is. It's not good.
Yeah, it sucks because like, do you think he makes a team next year or no?
I think his dead hit would be too much.
Yeah.
I think it's been floated on a couple different mediums, but I think people have said like, could he be on the trade block? Like, a couple teams might look at him, like a team like the Chiefs who need help up front, but it's a lot of money, man. I think they have like $2 million in cap room right now too, so I don't really know how they'd make that work.
Yeah, and then we would still be paying like half of that at that point. I feel like maybe I would rather just have them, depending on obviously what they gave up or gave us.
Yeah, and it probably wouldn't be much, to be honest, because they would be taking on the like if I was Brad Holmes and some team called and they're like, hey, we'll give you a 5th for Trey Flowers, I'd be like, done.
5th?
I would. I mean, I don't care about the compensation. Just
get it off.
Honestly, if it were a 6th or a 7th, I'd probably do it too. I like Trey Flowers, and he's a good pro.
Yeah.
But you have Julian Okwara, you have Austin Bryant. You're going to get Deshaun Hand back at some point, hopefully. Knock on wood.
Thibodeau coming.
Yeah. Oh yeah. Knock on wood again. So you getting those guys back, I'd take whatever I can get for Flowers and just be rid of that deal. Like I said, I like Trey Flowers. I think he's a good pro. I think he's probably being a good mentor to a lot of these guys, but just from a salary cap standpoint, I'd be ready to cut bait with that one. That's one of those contracts. It's like that one and then Vaitai. But Vaitai's played good. Can't knock Vaitai right now, man. He's been pretty damn good.
Yeah, man, I've been kind of blown away with like the ability of this offense to step up, the offensive line, I should say. I mean, even what's the center's name? Evan Brown.
Evan Brown, yeah.
Even him, like it's been wild. Like
Hank Fraley, the offensive line coach, man, they fought really hard to keep Hank Fraley when the changeover happened, when the old regime got fired and they brought in the current regime, and they lobbied to keep Hank Fraley, and I'm really happy they did because that man's churning out some diamonds pretty good there.
Yeah, and before we went live, you actually told me like that's like your forte, like your bread and butter is the offensive line and watching film on them. Where do you stand on the whole Penei Sewell and Taylor Decker thing? Like, are you cool giving Sewell the shot at right tackle, or with seeing what Haley's been able to do with what he's got? Are you ready to move on from Decker and his contract as well?
So, and I don't want to claim to be an expert. I know a little bit, but I'm always trying to learn more. But as far as I don't want to trade Decker just because, in my opinion, there's every position matters in football, but there's a couple premium positions, right? So like both offensive tackles these days, let's be real, because it used to be like when we were younger, maybe left tackles were a different position than right tackles. And that's true to an extent now, but really not anymore because they're moving around edge rushers. Like you got to be able to block, speed rushers on the right. You got to be able to pull on the right. You got to be able to, trap on the right. Everything applies, on the right as it does on the left, in my opinion. So
yeah,
I really wouldn't want to move on from Decker just because he's a top 15 tackle, man. And that's not both sides. Like in my opinion, you could put him. We haven't seen him play. He hasn't played right tackle since. So what? He was probably 2015
yeah.
2014 or whatever. It's been It's been a long time, probably since he was a freshman at Ohio State, I think is what they said. And the Lions drafted him in 2016, if I'm not mistaken.
What
Um,
like, does he offer that much more value over who's the guy in the spot right now? Matt Nelson? Like when he comes
Oh
back,
yeah,
yeah?
yeah. Matt, I mean, Matt Nelson's he's a converted defensive end, so he was a defensive end like 2 years ago, or like maybe less than that, like a year and a half ago, and he's still learning to play the position. He's been okay. I mean, and that's the thing, like offensive line depth, like it's not just with the Lions. Offensive line depth sucks across football. Like it's just terrible. Like teams like I'm trying to think. People lose like starters on the offensive line and things get really bad. Remember that year the Lions, who was it? I think was it Decker who got hurt and we had Greg Robinson. Do you remember Greg Robinson? You remember that G Rob? Remember that name? He was
I got muted. I apologize.
oh no,
No,
you're good.
I do remember him. Yeah, because he got drafted really early on. He was supposed to be sweet. Never
Yep, and
panned out.
he was really bad, man. And
We
that's
got
just
him.
like
I thought he was gonna be sweet here. I'm like, oh yeah, I remember him. And no, it
yeah.
was not the case.
No, I wish sometimes that works out, but not often. But no, to answer your question, I would like to keep Decker. And I'm trying to read the tea leaves, man. Like I think today the injury update. I think Dan Campbell said Decker's status was unchanged. So they started his clock, which is like I think it's 21 days, 3 weeks when they activate him off of IR,
Yeah.
like bring him off of IR to like start working him back in. And if he's not ready, he's just going to go into IR like for the
That's
season.
just it's so crazy. Like, I mean, I that's a big part of it. Actually, just gripping people up. Because I remember from like my high school days, once you
That
grab them
breastplate,
pads, you
yep.
can drive somebody, wherever you want. But I don't know the way that whole thing went down. It was just like, wait, what? Like Decker's hurt? Oh wait, it's IR, and then now this too. Like, oh, he's coming off IR, so we're hopeful. Nah, like it's still he
I
might be
know.
on that for the rest of the season.
I wonder if I don't know. I mean, it's all speculation, but he might, could have had a setback or, I wonder too if they're just playing it really safe because the Lions are 0-7. They're looking at, there's not really anything crazy to play for right now. You're getting a longer look at Matt Nelson.
Yeah.
But to answer your question earlier, though, yeah, if you, like, in my opinion, if you like this week they had Decker at left tackle and Sewell at right tackle.
Hmm.
And I wrote something about this too, but that makes two positions a lot better quickly. Like Decker's a better left tackle than Sewell is currently. And as much as Sewell struggled at times on the right side of preseason, my man Sewell is going to be a lot better than Matt Nelson right away. No disrespect to Matt Nelson.
Yeah.
Sewell's a different
Especially in the
guy.
run game, man.
Yeah,
Watching him when run the football, he's just a fucking steamroller.
exactly, man.
Or
Like he
I don't
was,
know that's a word I was looking for, but
no, I
whatever
mean,
plows down
he's
stuff in the
bullying,
field.
bullying people, and he's nasty, and I love that nasty streak. Like one of my favorite offensive linemen to watch ever has been Trent Williams for the longest time. Played in Washington forever.
49ers.
Yeah, just big, nasty. He's mean. He's
And
mean.
Sulo's got that meme. We saw it on Sunday with Aaron Donald.
Mhm. That was
Man was
impressive.
not backing down. He was not afraid of that challenge at all.
He didn't. Sewell did not
That's really
care.
dope.
I mean, I think someone tweeted this and I laughed, but they're like, do you mean the 6'6", 330-pound Samoan didn't back down from somebody?" And I'm like, "Well,
Yes, Scott on our bet show at Wilbur Sports, he said that today too. He was like, "So who you thought that guy was like a pussy? Like
yeah,
you know?"
it is Penei Sewell." That's on. I was talking about this with one of my friends who played defensive line at a really high level, in the CFL and obviously in college, and he made this point to me, and it's something that I think gets lost on people is, obviously, hopefully Sue keeps on developing, right? But
Mhm.
um, he's going to get his second contract when he's like 23 or 24, which is
Isn't
insane.
it crazy?
And then, as well as I do, you kind of go from a different change. Like your strength at 20 is different than your strength at like 25, 26 when you're like a grown
Yeah.
man. So like Sewell's only going to get stronger, which is kind of crazy to think about.
I've
So
always want I because I look at him and I've wondered that too. Like does he get stronger than this? Like,
Yeah.
and the crazy part too, he don't look like Jackson like that. He looks like just naturally like just fucking like a
I mean, he's
beast,
just,
and some of it seems like it must be his mentality as well.
have you seen his brothers yet?
I saw. I can't like recall them in my head. No, are they huge?
His
Are they bigger?
brother, his brother Noah Sewell is probably the best linebacker in college football. He's at Oregon. He's really
Yeah,
good, man. He's really good. So I just think they have some pretty good genetics, and yeah, I think he's going to end up getting because he's still, again, not disrespectful, he kind of has like a little bit of a baby body. So like when
yeah.
yeah, I mean, he's just going to get stronger, in my opinion. It's just nuts.
He's a fridge, bro. He's a
Yeah.
refrigerator with arms.
It can move quickly.
Yeah.
Yeah.
All right, so this comment here, shout out to Dr. Detroit. Shout out to everybody in the comments, by the way, too. My man Go Lions. Ryan Carey was in here for a minute. My man Mobby, Looney Tunes. Funky was here earlier. He was worried about us. He didn't know if we were gonna make it. We're here,
We
man.
got distracted.
And I'll move on to the question I wrote down, but like what's the trade value of Decker? Is it a first or third? Like all these people jump into like, hey, trade Decker for a first, or like is Taylor Decker worth that? Because I know in the offseason we saw with the Ravens trade Orlando Brown to KC. That was for a first round, if I'm not mistaken, right?
Yeah, I mean, it would probably, I don't know about a first and a third. I mean, I'd like to, that'd be cool. But if they did, if Brad Holmes was shopping him, then yeah, I would probably say it would be one of those later first because it's going to be a team who's competing that feels like they need a tackle to make a run here. One of those teams that feels like it's their window to compete. So yeah, I would assume a one. It would just be a later one, like getting into your 20s, late 20s.
Yeah. What up, the Header House? All right. So I got questions I wrote down. And I got some that I actually like prepped from this morning a little bit. And this one, because I know it's Eagles week, and I do want to take the discussion there. But I do want to ask you because I respect your opinion. And it may be a hot take. I don't know. Like I've been getting trashed for it and praise. Did Dan Campbell outcoach McVay in that game?
Hey man, you can make an argument because at the end of the day, McVay has better horses, right? So McVay is running out Matthew Stafford, Cooper Kupp, Robert Woods, Tyler Higbee's no slouch at tight end. Like their skill guys are good.
Yeah.
The Lions had Jerry Jacobs been good. I'm a Jerry Jacobs fan right now, but then AJ Parker went out. So it got ugly quick. They're going to be outmatched just about every week they go into. Maybe not this week, maybe not the Bears game. We'll see. Knock on wood again. But you could definitely make this. You could make this case that Campbell did outcoach McVay. Some of the special teams, those fakes that they had drawn up, I was really impressed with because he talked about it today too during his presser. He said they had ran those, like they've been practicing those for weeks, and if they got a certain look, they felt really confident they were going to get it. So I've been impressed with this staff the whole year, though. So,
bro, me too. Because the thing is, too, like you said, like in most matchups, we're about to be like outmatched. You know what I'm saying? Like the other team's players are going to be better than us, and that was coming into the season. Let alone injury on top of injury. Now we're filling in guys who, like you said, used to play defensive line or UDFA's. Like it's what this coaching staff has been able to do, man, has been crazy. And my whole case with the McVay point was had not his horses, like you said, his fucking stud and Aaron Donald and Jalen Ramsey, like two of the best in the league, if not the best at their positions, didn't make that play in the fourth quarter. Like it looked like we were about to wrap that thing up. And that was no X and O thing. I'm saying those are the best guys at those spots.
Yep, they were competing, man. So that's, in my opinion, yeah, Aaron Donald and Jalen Ramsey are the two best defensive players in football right now on the same roster. So that's pretty insane. But yeah, I've been impressed. Shout out Oliver Pleasant, shout out Flint. Because like AJ Parker and Jerry Jacobs, both undrafted free agents, undrafted rookies, and they're playing like 100% of the snaps, man. Like I hope AJ. This is where we're at right now. Like I really hope AJ Parker can play against the Eagles because like things got worse when AJ Parker went out last week.
Oh yeah. I mean, someone got demoted to practice squad.
Yep, Daryl Worley, man.
Yeah.
So, at least he's still in Allen Park. But yeah, that was pretty swift. That was a pretty swift little transaction there.
That's the one thing I do like about this coaching staff is like they don't hold back for like if you're underperforming, and they don't care that much like in Daryl Worley's situation, he's put in a tough situation to begin with. But it's like they must. Hey, you know your assignment. If you didn't execute, like we
Yep,
gotta find someone who can, and I respect that.
I
But
do
real
too.
quick,
Yep,
I want to shout my man Everything King for trolling the chat. That's my guy.
Goff
He's
is the goat.
he's the golf is the goat. That's how some people are acting, man. That's how some people are acting.
Oh man, I hope
But
they know now.
yeah, but moves like that Daryl Worley thing, and obviously what we saw out of this. Uh, I don't want to disrespect these guys because they're NFL players, but they're not the greatest in the league. So like that gives me hope, man.
Yep, definitely. I mean, they've been cooking, pretty good in my opinion. Like, everyone's seen the Lions have been in just about every game, minus a few. The Bengals game got away from them. The Chicago game they were never really in. That was ugly. But a lot of a lot of games that they really have no business in, being competitive in. They're being competitive, and I think that's a testament to the staff
Hell yeah,
getting the most out of
1,000%.
guys for sure.
With speaking of the staff, and I'm sorry I keep popping questions because these ones coming off the top of my head, but like I
Yeah,
said, man, I really want to like pick your brain because I respect your opinion on this shit.
appreciate you.
Um,
Yeah, yeah.
offensive staff, like Anthony Lynn, he's been a polarizing like topic, I guess, in the Detroit Lions fan community. Have you been? Is he one of the coaches you're impressed with, or have you had like reservations? Like,
So like Aylin hadn't been a coordinator in a bit. I kind of think people forget that too. So I don't know if he was calling his own plays with the Chargers. He might have been. For the most part, I've been pleased with Anthony Lynn because sometimes you can point out like that he abandoned the run too early, but I mean they get behind and he knows the defense. Like a couple of those weeks, he only has a few stops in them, if any. So they get behind and then he's limited, man. I think people are kind of seeing, and I'm not trying to pile on Jared Goff. I know he gets, his due in the media, but Goff can only do so much right now. Like he's not confident. Going back to the Bengals game, I wrote something about it, but he's doing things that quarterbacks just, being in your fifth year, being a veteran, just can't do, like drifting back to 10, 11, 12 yards in his drop, which just hangs your tackles out to dry because what are you going to do? That you got nowhere to run them off. So I give Anthony Lynn his due. Look at the skill guys aren't super great right now. Khalif Raymond had a nice game.
I like him a lot.
I do
He's more
too.
than a fine done.
I
I feel
like
like
him.
if you were able to just play the slot, he would excel.
Yeah, I
He
do
was
too. Like
focused on being like,
if you're
yeah,
not asking him to be like an X or a Y outside, yeah, for sure. Like it's not really his game. I think he's like 5'6", 5'7". It's not not a big guy.
hey, you leave us short people alone, man.
Hey man, hey, I got nothing against it, but if you're gonna be that small, typically in the NFL, you better run like Tyreek Hill,
Yeah,
like Deshaun Jackson. You know what I mean? And Khalif
yeah.
Raymond can burn.
He got
Like
some burners, yeah.
he got moving this week, and he made some tough catches. So he's another one. It'd be nice. It'd be nice if some of these guys can stick long term because then you have pieces going into 2022 and beyond that you didn't even know you had. You know what I mean?
Yeah,
Your Jerry
yeah.
Jacobs, Khalif Raymond, stuff like that.
I'm excited too. Is like, I guess we'll get into it. I make graphics for these ones, so I do want to use them.
Yeah.
And I ask you this real quick. Actually, no, I'll make that. I ask that because obviously Thibodeau's looking like the pick we're gonna make if we have that, the number one pick, and we kind of have some like edge rushers who've been okay, Quara, but I've seen Julian Quara take the inside rush at times too. So it's like we could add Thibodeau to that. It's like, we might have something nice.
Yeah, and they're doing Aaron Glenn's doing a lot of fun stuff with the defensive line. They're running a lot of stunts in games. Like that's how they got the one sack last week on Stafford was Julian Okwara running a game. So like I believe at the time the tackle looped out first and then Okwara looped in like on a slight delay.
Yeah,
And
like on a stunt or like.
yeah, so stunt in games. So like defensive linemen will get on you like they're like, well, that was a game or that was a stunt. So
Okay.
but yeah, that's Julian Quar is good, and if you can start getting him to stand up more, if you're able to add a guy like Thibodeau, who, he has some of those elite traits that not a lot of guys have, in my opinion. Then it's not just my opinion. A lot of people have been saying that about him.
Yeah.
But I think I said this on Twitter this week. I don't think people should assume the Lions are going to have number 1 overall picks. Yes, the Lions are bad, but there are a lot of bad football teams right now. There's a lot.
There's what 4 other teams with just 1 win. Yeah, and as soon as we get one this weekend,
hopefully. And then you have teams like the Eagles. Like the Eagles are kind of spiraling right now, in my opinion. Like they're not in a good place.
They still with me like those quarterbacks. So I feel like I always give you a chance just because.
Yep, and Jalen Hurts is solid.
Yeah,
they have some good skill guys. Obviously, they got Devontae Smith. They have Rager. They have Slay. Shout out Slay, I miss you. So I mean, they're on paper they're still a better team. Don't get me wrong. I just they're definitely more vulnerable.
Yo, and they actually like really like coached the hell up too, because like them and the Texans, I'll give credit to, because like everyone was kind of looking down those teams heading into the season, and here they are. I mean, winning more games than us. I mean, definitely, actually, both teams. But the Texans only had the 1 win, if I'm not mistaken.
Yeah,
but still, no one saw that coming.
No, and I always say this too. Like I've said this several times, like lately, but this team is not the 08 team, and like the 08 team, they were getting smacked just about every week. Like that Cincinnati game, like never really in it, not competitive. Like this team has already, like if you run that Baltimore game back and Justin Tucker kicks that kick 10 times, he's probably missing it 9 out of the 10 times. So
yeah,
it
literally fucking bounced in. I've never seen that shit in my life.
I think it just had to hit like this, man. Like if this is the crossbar, it just had to hit like perpendicular, like just perfect, just because otherwise that doesn't happen. It is an oblong football hitting a round bar. It just doesn't really work. So.
And if it was anyone other than Justin Tucker, I would have been livid. But him, he's like the best right now. I can't, I ain't gonna be that mad. How you feel about Amon-Ra? Speaking of, shout out to Looney Tune for the comment. He said, "Can't wait till he has a 100-yard game." Go ahead. Actually, what do you think about Amon-Ra?
That's someone I do want some more from. Is just just from a productivity standpoint. I think he had 43 snaps. Don't quote me. Last week, so he was in there a lot. And I don't know if it's on Goff like not getting to him and his progressions, or if it's Amon-Ra not being in where he's supposed to be. If it's like a a missed assignment.
Yeah,
it's just. Yeah, you'd like to get him more involved because the Lions don't really have much else right now cooking besides Khalif Raymond, and so
and he at the end of the day he's still what, 4th, 5th round. What round did he end up going in?
Amon-Ra, he was a 5th round pick. Yeah, 5th round pick.
Yeah, he's still like a 5th round receiver at the end of the day in his rookie year. It's like I don't expect too much out of him. Like, would I love to see a 100-yard game out of him? Hell yeah, but at the same time, I'm not necessarily like. I guess allowing him to shoulder like those expectations, you know what I'm saying? Because we're a bad team. We have Goff who, again, I don't want to be disrespectful, but it doesn't go through all his reads at times. It's a bit frustrating, and it's part of it. I mean, you kind of hinted that to that too. We had easiest QB draft class could be dicey, but who would you take for the Lions? And don't say Rattler. Well, I'm gonna pass that question out to my man Morgan.
Oh man, quarterback wise, I don't. So like, if they're hypothetically going to use a first, like in the like trade back up or like later in the first round, like whether it's the Rams pick or like the Lions 2nd pick, I don't know, man. I guess maybe I'd look into. You got to look into Matt Corral, I guess. He has all the elite traits people have been talking about. Carson Strong is a name I've seen floated around. Pickett, I know people are high on Pickett right now. I'm not really sure about that. He's old. Old, right?
I was like, wait, what?
I think he's like a 6-year senior.
Damn.
And he's like 24.
Yeah, I'm good on that.
I'm kind of with Hatter's house right here. I almost would punt. If they want to take him, if they really like a guy and they want to take like, I mean, Lamar Jackson, it doesn't happen often, but like Lamar Jackson was taken, what, 32nd overall. Drew Brees was taken late. It
Russell
happens.
Wilson.
Yeah, Russell Wilson. It happens, but it just doesn't happen. Dak, I love Dak Prescott. It just
Yeah.
doesn't happen often. But
I don't think Kirk Cousins is great by any means, but he second rounder.
yeah, I
Carson
mean,
Strong, nice for the
like
Bears.
yeah, like if they want to take Carson Strong with the Rams because the Rams are picking 30th overall, like I'm not going to be mad at them for that. But as
Yeah,
far as picking them, like if the Lions are picking 1 overall or even 2 or 3, no, I would say that needs to be like those are the premium positions to me, barring an outlier. So that's edge rusher, offensive tackle, and then quarterback.
yeah, and like you said, I'm cool with taking a guy late and just allowing him to compete.
Yeah, because Goff's probably going to be here next year. That's another. So most
Yeah,
likely, most
yeah,
likely.
most likely for sure. That was one of my questions, but I'm pretty sure like that one's set in stone. Like I think we all think he's gonna be here next year, barring he's just god awful, or we get that quarterback that we just fall in love with in the offseason. But
It's just a lot of dead money. I think it's like so. And again, people will complain. I want to set this straight. And Eric, one of the editors at Pride of Detroit, Eric Schlitt, and Jeremy has touched on this. Jeremy Reisman, but they had to do that restructure to even field a
to sign
roster.
our rookies, we had to do it.
Like
Yeah,
exactly. People are
yeah,
like they just did that because they wanted to. Like no, they did that so they could sign
yeah.
the rookie class, so they could give Romeo an extension. Like so that had to happen. It was that. So yeah, he's probably going to be here next year, barring some. Because you don't want to if you're cutting him. Say you draft a quarterback and then you cut him. So like you have all that dead money allocated towards Goff. You have the new contract allocated towards the rookie. It's just
Yeah,
these
there's no way.
expensive.
Yeah, I can't see it, man. We were speaking about being hopeful for the future. There's still a whole more than half the schedule left. He said,
I'm trying to enjoy it, man, because I'm just like everyone else. I enjoy football, being here, and I try not to wish it away. But yeah, it's like, man,
when do you think we'll see the Lions' first victory this year?
I try not to. I'm not a superstitious guy,
Yeah.
but I am a little stitious. Who said that? Michael Scott. Um,
I'm not superstitious, but I'm a little stitious.
yeah.
It's funny as fuck. I got the schedule here too if you want.
Like so, a couple of these games, I could see, erring a little on the side of Cincinnati, right? Like, I don't really think they have the horses to compete with Arizona, right? That's going to be pretty tough.
Yeah.
Green Bay is probably not going to be a lot of fun again. Cleveland, not going to be a lot of fun, probably. But any of these other games, I'm like, it's any given Sunday. You know what I mean? Like, I think they have as good a shot as any this weekend against the Philadelphia Eagles. They got a good shot on Thanksgiving against the Bears. I think the Seahawks, like if the Seahawks continue to lose games, I think they could end up putting Russell Wilson. Just why would they play him if they're 4-10? You know what I mean?
Mm-hmm.
I don't. Denver has not looked great. Atlanta's bad.
Yeah.
Pittsburgh's hit or miss.
Yeah, bro, they're so weird. The
They
Steelers
are. They are, but you just never know.
never know.
You just the Lion. Like we talked about. It took a 66-yard field goal from Justin Tucker to beat the Detroit Lions.
That's a better team, for sure too.
For sure.
Former MVP, all that.
Lamar.
Yeah, for me, if I'm circling any, and I'm the same way, I'm a little stitious. See, I don't even like saying it because I am for a little stitious.
I am. Well,
yeah, I would. I'll put this one up there because I feel like we might actually lose, but I feel like it is a winnable game. There's multiple I see on here that I would pick, but I think Pittsburgh, like you said, could fuck it up.
Yep.
And I'll always say fuck the Bears, like fuck them till the day I die. That's on everything. And then I texted my boy. He actually stays out in Denver. He's part of the Coach Montoya, that UFC MMA gym.
Okay.
I was like, yo, I think you know what I'm saying that could be the Lions' first dub out there. Then
Yeah.
tomorrow,
I just want it to happen for the players, for Campbell, like the coaching staff, just get it off their backs, and then you know, I'm not
yeah,
ever a pro tank. Like I'm never like hoping for them to lose. I loved. I wrote something about this too, but I like what the Pistons did last year. Like they were in just about every game.
yeah. We're kind of like that for real though. The Lions are
Yeah,
kind of like mimicking that.
it was
I think you
really.
and I spoke about that at the Tigers game too. We were like, yo, this is like
Yep.
if they could be that, then I'll be happy.
It's fun to watch most of the time.
Yeah,
It might beat like remember when the Pistons beat the Lakers last year? Like, and it was just like it was the best time of the season. Like,
yeah,
I think Lions fans will end up having that moment where like it'll be like a nice little week of like jubilation. Woo, we got it off our backs, and then back to losing. But
yeah.
that's okay.
Pretty much, man.
Yeah.
Um, and real quick too, if anyone's just joining or tuning in late, this is my man Morgan Cannon from SB Nation's Pride of Detroit. If you guys are Detroit Lions fans, you damn well know who they are. You catch his articles there as well. Follow him on Twitter. His handles are right underneath him. MCannon313. Did I spell that correctly?
Yeah, man. Yep. Real
All right,
easy.
cool, cool. You know, I'll
As
be
Irish as I look.
as Irish as I look. It does look pretty Irish, that name.
Yeah. I mean, very, very Irish for sure. But yeah, man.
Um, where's Iffy at? Because I don't believe he's an IR, and we just haven't seen him since week 2.
I
So
think
what's going on with that?
I think he said he was still a ways away today. So
What did he do? What was the official
I remember
hamstring or something?
they said it was a thigh
Quad?
injury, and
Uh,
if I'm guessing, like that man probably had like one of those like insane thigh bruises, like that, like like I think Shaq had one like way back in the day. I don't know why my weird brain
spreads
is.
across their whole leg.
Yeah, like it's like painful, like almost like a bone bruise, like deep. Like he must have gotten rattled. So I think Campbell said he's a ways away still. AJ Parker was day to day though. I have that written down, which is good
That's
because
yeah. The
that
Iffy
was
stuff's annoying because he looked promising for a minute there too. It was like,
yeah. See, that's some of these injuries. Like it sucks losing Frank, right? Like I'm not saying it doesn't, but Frank we already know is an All Pro center. He's probably going to
mhm.
be on any given year going to be one of the best three centers in football, hopefully, right?
Yeah,
What's really sucks, like same thing with Romeo. Romeo, we knew was like I think Romeo was getting better still prior to
yeah,
Achilles, but we knew what Romeo was. Romeo's good. What really stinks is some of these guys that they just didn't like. We're trying to figure out whether it's Okuda, Ifatu Melifonwu.
yeah.
A lot of these injuries, we were like,
The other thing too with the Melifonwu thing is like I wanted to say like, oh man, that kid's showing promise, but the weeks carry on, and Aaron Glenn just has these guys just filling in and looking like starting cornerbacks in the NFL. It's kind of been crazy. So I don't know if Melifonwu was going to be that much better than the next guy up, or he just kind of carry on that same trend.
I think he has. So he's big. He's a big, long armed. He's tall. He's physical. So he has a little bit more probably juice than say AJ Parker. If I'm just being honest, but I mean AJ Parker's been competing. So I don't know. I
Yeah,
think when if he does come back, he'll probably get some run on the outside too. They'll probably get him some run on the and at the nickel and on the outside, depending on what's going on at that point. But I'm hoping they can at least. He's one of them. I'd like for them to get back prior to the end of the year, just so we can get a look at him.
yeah. I feel that's exactly where I'm at with him too. That's why I wanted to ask you because I know you're more in tune with what's going on. Because like it's like he got hurt and it's like we never heard anything since then, and he wasn't put on IR. So it's like what's going on?
Yep, I think they're just trying to keep him. Just see if they can get him back. Maybe it's in like another 3 or 4 weeks. But even if it's in another 3 or 4 weeks, that's still got 6 games, which is crazy.
Yeah, it's
It's a long
I
season.
mean, it is what it is. Yeah, it's gonna be a long season. We
Mhm.
saw it. Winter's coming, as they say, and
Yeah, man. And that's probably the thing I've been offering to fans the most lately is just try to find positives. Like last week it was Sewell getting on a really good track and having a good game. He was the Lions' highest graded offensive player per PFF. So that's something to be said, and that was a good front they played against.
Yes.
With Aaron Donald and everyone else, that's a damn good front. Just a damn good defense, to be honest with you.
No, I agree. It's I've had like a well documented beef with PFF, and this kind of rolls into like one of my last questions, and we'll hop into some basketball because I know you're a big Pistons fan. But so PFF had like the rankings as they do the preseason rankings, and my man DeAndre Swift wasn't even the top 32. They actually cut off the rankings at 32. He wasn't even in the rankings. Now,
yeah.
I know running the ball, he hasn't been like the greatest, and like you said, we kind of abandoned the run pretty early in a lot of these games. Like, where is he up there? Because obviously he's doing his thing like, every time he touches it in the receiving game.
So yeah, I mean, I would put Swift up there. PFF can be janky at in certain areas, like offensive linemen and defensive linemen will like cut them up, like guys that really really know what they're like Duke Manyweather, like Jeff Schwartz, like these like offensive line gurus who like really know their shit. So like they'll be like, man, PFF, blah blah blah. So I always take PFF with a grain of salt. I do think Swift still has room to grow as a runner. Receiving wise, though, like I think Dan Campbell touched on it today, but I put him in the same breath as like Alvin Kamara, like receiving the football. Like that man is.
He kind of have to it this season. Like it sounds weird to say, and like it is kind of you don't want to get killed for it, but like the numbers say it. The numbers are there for you to make the argument, and whether that's due to Goff just checking it down, the numbers are still there for you to be like, look, number one right now. I think in yards and catches too, or no for running backs.
I think he's number one in catches for running backs, but I think he's like number one overall, regardless of position in yards after catch, though, like by a lot.
Damn.
Like, I think he's lapping dudes. I think like it's like Cooper Kupp second, and I think Swift's got him by like a bunch.
That's sick.
So,
the thing I like about that too is like he's also splitting carries, like splitting mad carries too.
Yeah, and I love Jamal Williams, and he definitely. That's kind of the thing I will, if I had to knock Swift on, right now, is that if Jamal Williams is getting what the play is blocked for, right? So like,
yeah,
if the line executed their blocks and they've allowed for him to get 5 yards, he's going to get those 5 yards. Whereas where Swift will maybe have a hiccup here and there, whether it's like he's reading something wrong or processing something late. It just depends. So I do think he can grow a little bit. Those stretch plays where they just get him to the outside, to the edge, that's where I think his bread and butter still is as a runner. But
yeah,
he can still get a little bit better just with setting things up in between the tackles.
Yeah, he's better in space for sure. It's not even like debatable.
Like I wouldn't even. I don't get. I know we were talking about Anthony Lynn earlier. I don't get on Anthony Lynn for last week for the going for it on 3rd and 4th down. Remember that when they just gave it to Swift 2 times.
I just didn't like the way they went about it.
Yeah,
with the 4th down. Yeah.
For me, if you're gonna do that, just put Jamal in or like get into a different look. Like they basically
hit the huddle at one time at least, so they don't know what the fuck. It's like when you're playing Madden against your boy and you don't get it. And you're like, fuck that. I'm doing the same fucking play.
Exactly. I think Campbell might have just gotten a little frustrated there, in my opinion, because I don't. They just basically flipped the play from what I saw. I might.
Yeah, it was like the same one. And shout out to the NFL for getting that all 22 up. You know what I'm saying?
I know, man. Maybe one day. I'm hoping that it'll get released and like we'll have something to do in the off season. That's kind of what I'm hoping. At least I'll have something to write about in the off season.
Yeah, it would be fun because there's a lot of young guys on the team for you to look at.
Yeah, exactly. Break it down, look at needs and all that. So,
all right, man, I'm a remix this into another passion of yours, and I'll probably let you get going. But
yep.
What the fuck's going on with Killian Hayes, man?
See, I'm patient, but I'm not patient. It just depends on the situation, I guess. So Killian Hayes, everyone
a little stitious.
Everyone, a little stitious. Everyone that knows ball will tell you, it takes a little bit. Some of the things are a little concerning, like just him shying away from contact, not being assertive. So he did. I mean, looked a little bit better the other night though. So
Yeah.
right, I'm just trying to hold out hope. I want to see what he looks like when Cade's out there because I think that's going to help.
Yeah.
But it's not looking great. I'm not gonna lie, but I'm
Yeah.
hoping. Yeah,
In one way, it's still kind of like his rookie season, right? Because he didn't have a full season. He missed some time with the injury.
yep,
But on the other hand, you still around. You're still in the professional league with the practices and with the coaching, and you played professionally before that. And at first, I was like, maybe it's a confidence thing, but then you see him missing shots too. So it's like, but all right, hold on, King. He said, but fans want Ben Simmons. Ben Simmons is a 10 times better version of that, though. Let's be honest about it.
yeah, but Ben Simmons is 10 times more expensive too, though. That's the thing. I
Yeah,
don't.
12 times more expensive.
Ben Simmons is right there, like in the Trey Flowers, like not like just from a standpoint of they're both they're both getting paid for too much for what they bring to the table.
Yeah.
Like Ben Simmons is making 20 million a year, you'd be like, hell yeah, man, come on, we'll take you, cool, no problem. But 40, I don't know about that.
I feel like he'll be good in a team that like spaces out the floor. Like the Sixers, like I don't know what the hell they were doing there for a minute. They start bringing all these big men in, like that Tobias in there, which he can stretch the floor a bit, but he's still ultimately a big. He works. You know what I'm saying? Like then you have Joel Embiid, and they signed fucking Horford's. Like, what are you guys doing? Like, do you not realize your point guard can't shoot? Like, and he's also like a power forward playing point guard. Like,
Man, I'm sure Daryl Morey knows more about basketball than I do, but at the same time, I was looking at that too. I'm like, all right, you got a traditional post player, and you got a guy who cannot shoot the ball. So I'm not really sure what's going on here. And I don't know. I mean, it works too. It works in the regular season. They whip teams' asses, but then when it gets down to it, you got to take your guy who you're paying. I mean, Ben Simmons can't be on the floor at the very end of the game. Like that's horrible. You're paying someone $40 million,
that
and
is
it's game 7 at the end of a game in game 7 in the playoffs, and you can't play them because they're just going to foul him. That's terrible.
that is terrible.
I,
That's very bad.
yeah, that's that's a situation. I think he needs to go somewhere like where there's just shooters, like hella shooters. Like if he could somehow, like if Golden State all of a sudden didn't have Draymond, like that'd be a perfect role for him.
Yeah.
He'd be like a supercharged Draymond.
Facts. I think, and like, look, I get killed for it, obviously because everyone's killing Ben Simmons. Like in Philly, they're killing him. My man King said he just left the stream. They hate him. He said a lot. But like, I don't know. I feel like him and K, be light skinning it up out there, doing people dirty.
I feel like Cade can get along with anybody, man. I really hope Cade just comes off as like a cool alpha. Like he doesn't need to be a jerk or anything. He just kind of knows he's that dude. He's been that dude for a while. He just goes about his business. I'm excited. We're going to be in New York for Rolling Loud this weekend, so I'm not going to see. I'm assuming he's going to play Saturday night, but
Is he for sure not playing tomorrow?
I don't think so. I would feel like Omari.
Yeah, they would have said something today. I feel like.
Yeah.
To sell some tickets.
Oh, for sure. I mean, I was there opening night. I got a little package this year.
I know what I'm saying? If someone can't make it, you got my number now,
Hey, yeah, I'll definitely. I already know. I got you.
So, man, going to work. Detroit's going to work. All around too. If like every one of our sports, I'm low key a hockey fan now too. The Red Wings been really exciting to watch.
The Red, yeah. So I saw on Twitter you getting a little in hockey.
Bro,
So
it's exciting.
It is, man. And the Red Wings. So like, from my opinion, hockey's a lot like baseball, and it takes a lot. It takes a while for their dudes to get up to the level. Like they're going to be in the farm system for a little while.
Yeah.
So the Red Wings are kind of seeing like Steve Yzerman seeing the fruits of his labor. Moritz Seider and Lucas Raymond. These guys are getting up, and hopefully the Tigers will be there next year. I think the Pistons. So if I'm keeping it a buck about the Pistons, I used to have like earlier in the offseason, maybe I had dreams about the play-in. Now I'm kind of talking myself out of the play-in, and that's fine. I think hopefully they'll win like 10, 12 games more than they did last year. So what, like 30, 32 games? That'd be fine, I guess. Still get a lottery pick.
Yeah, I hit FanDuel for that 29.5, so we better get more than 30.
You did?
Yeah.
I placed my first bet ever. I'm not a gambler. I don't play fantasy football, none of that. But I placed a bet back when we first drafted Cade. It was like to make the play in, it's like $25. It paid out like 300. I was like, sure, I'll do this. Why not?
Yeah, why not? Definitely
Yeah,
spend $25 on worse, man.
yeah. So, but yeah, I'm trying to refine my expectations a little bit there.
Yeah, I feel like once free agency hit, and I saw we just only came away with Kelly Olynyk, and I feel like Nerlens Noel was out there. We could have grabbed because we don't really have a true 5 right now. I know our beef stew was there, but like he's kind of undersized at the position. I was like, okay, like I think we're taking another year off and then going hard.
Yeah, I think once Blake's money comes off the books, I think they'll be in a position to like spend a little bit next year, and I think it's the year after they could probably go after like a max player. So they're gonna have a little window here, and Sadiq and Isaiah and Kate. Everybody's under contract. I hope Killian's one. I do. I want Killian to work, man. I know a lot of people are hating on Killian already. I know King is going to defend him. I'll defend Killian. Like you said, he hasn't even played 30 games in the league yet.
Yeah, and I think too, like, and the plus side of it, like we got him on a rookie contract, and he could still like move the ball. You know what I'm saying? Like he could still like get Cade the ball in spots where he's just gonna wet that 3 that we saw in the summer league. 7 of them boys at one game. Like,
man, that was
I'm
fun.
excited.
And going back to last year too. Killian was at a lot of the time when he was playing, he clearly looked like the Pistons' best passer.
Oh yeah, without a doubt.
I'm just trying not to rush judgment. You think Pistons fans would have learned by now with like Chris Middleton and Spencer Dinwiddie and like
That's a fucking great point.
Patience, man. We gotta like people, and I'll still. It's a different beast because Okuda tore his Achilles, shifting back to the Lions for a second. So Achilles injuries are notoriously tough to come back from.
Yeah, I was gonna ask that actually.
Really, really tough, man. And so I don't know what's going to happen there, but it's like people forget too. Darius Slay was bad for 2 years. Darius Slay was not good for 2 years, and then in 2014, my man figured it out. But for a while, like he was sitting behind. He was just sitting because when he would get in, he would get cooked, and it takes a little bit for people to figure it out, especially at positions like point guard and cornerback. It's tough, man.
There's a lot of responsibility in those positions, man.
Yeah, So everyone just learns that they're different. Snappers down for 300 yards. How many 300 yards? Man, how many 300 yards did he do?
I think 3 or 4. Just kidding. He had way more than 300 yards here.
Yeah, probably
a lot.
I'll say 84. 84. Seems like a good number.
Make me look this up now.
Probably a ton, man.
Yeah. Because he's like the king of yards, bro.
Mm-hmm. He is.
All right, 300-yard games. Football led. Here, I'll share this real quick. Then I'll let you get going. I apologize, man. I know it's a hella basketball going on right now. Quick trigger on the backgrounds. Hell yeah. All right, hold on real quick. I'm going to share the screen, though. We'll figure out the Stafford thing.
I mean, he's had to throw for a lot.
I'm saying double digits, at least. Oh, yeah. 23. Oh, shit, more.
Oh, no, it's going to be a lot, man. 300. 300 is a lot.
Especially today's age.
55. I was a little bit off. I thought it was going to be more, but
no, I mean, look, and only 3 of those are from the Chicago game. That was with the Rams, right? Yeah, I think this is from the Rams. Oh, 2021. I guess look at the date. Yeah, so then he had 51 with the Lions. Well, that was random, but we know. Shouts out to you, Go Lions. Thank you for tapping the stream, man. Lions win this week. We want to see King in a Lions hat. King wears Lions hats. Oh, he's not wearing Lions fan? What'd you say?
Is King not a Lions fan?
Oh no, King's a big Lions fan. He's just hurt right now.
Oh, not rocking the gear till they win?
I guess not, man. He delegated to even saying golf was the GOAT, so he's going through it, man.
Jared Goff
He's
is
going through it, or he's smoking that good, you know what I'm saying?
what Jared Goff to me is who we thought he was, man. Like
Yeah.
like I think if he resurrects a little bit of his ability, maybe he can become like a backup. Like he can make a little bit more, money being a backup, and dudes can make pretty good money still. So, but it's just not there. I mean, he made a couple throws on Sunday against the Rams where I was like, oh, okay, where he like stepped up he climbed the pocket one time and zipped that one to Khalif, which I was like, all right,
Against the Bears?
Yep, no, against
Yep.
the Rams.
Against the Rams?
Yeah, against just this last week, he made a couple big league throws where I was like, all right, that's fine.
Yeah, he is what he is, though. I ain't expecting nothing out of him. Even when he was with LA, I was like, he ain't it.
People forget that LA, man, that little window they had that unprecedented run with Todd Gurley, where Todd Gurley was in an MVP race.
Yeah.
And when you run the ball that well, and their offensive line is really good too, both running the ball and protecting Goff for the most part, shit gets easier,
Yeah.
shit gets easier. So
Way easy. Like you said, fucking MVP level he was that one year.
Gurley was Gurley probably had the best. You could probably argue Adrian Peterson at the early 2010s, but Gurley had the best little stretch of a running back play in the modern era, like going back a ways, in my opinion.
I know, I agree. Like when he was doing that, that's exactly who I was comparing him to. I was like to Adrian Peterson because I'm younger. We're younger, so like we didn't.
Yeah.
Barry's years, like we were like I feel like too like little to like take it in. You know what I'm saying?
I was like the very beginning, so I got Barry. Hold on, I got to slide the other way. Got a big old portrait right there, but I'm 31, so like Barry was like my childhood, man. I'm a big Barry fan, but yeah, I mean, Barry was his own cat for sure. But like going into Todd Gurley, like to be in the MVP race, Goff needs to drink some Hennessy and grow some. Goff definitely doesn't drink any Henny. He doesn't drink any yak for sure. He's probably drinking some fine wine or something, some Cali.
Probably drinking whatever his girlfriend's name is.
Oh, Sweata's talked to me about her some. I finally unfollowed Kelly Stafford on Instagram. I had to do it for my mental health.
Oh yeah.
I did it a couple weeks ago.
I feel like she wants to be a star. Kudos to her. All that stuff is I don't know.
I'm sure she bothers 2017. Oh yeah, for sure.
Oh yeah, without question.
Early was crazy, man. People don't. Yeah, like that man was eating, and then when you do that, and McVay's offense is already super quarterback friendly.
Yeah.
And then Goff's life was pretty easy. Okay, I'm going to go out on this bootleg. I'm going to have two options. Boom, boom. Got it.
Cool. They have Aaron Donald give you the ball in short yard situations.
Lots of turnovers. They had that. Yeah, that defense has been good for a little bit, but that's another thing. The Rams windows right now. You know what I mean? Like that's a top heavy roster, like very similar to remember the 2014 Lions? So they had Stafford, Sue, and Calvin. And
that's a great point.
All those dudes were on, and that was sadly for the Lions, that was right before that rookie wage scale got implemented to where now it's like you get drafted here, you get paid this. You get drafted here, you get paid this. There's a little bit of leeway, but not much, in terms of constructing the contracts. But back then they had Calvin, Stafford, and Sue all on those fat ass rookie deals because there was no, Stafford was on his big deal by then. And then Calvin was on that crazy deal. And then Sue was on his fat ass rookie deal. So that roster was really thin and top heavy. So, things can go quickly. I don't ever root for people to get hurt, but say next year, if Stafford's hurt and Aaron Donald's hurt, for a big chunk of the year, it's highly likely the Rams might suck.
No, yeah, and it happens too. Like you said, you don't wish it, but it's just part of what happens times. Like Melifano when he got hurt, he was guarding with Devontae Adams on a big play. It just happens.
Yep. Exactly.
Aaron Glenn will massacre the Eagles D. Plus, they are worse against the run. I think King drinking tonight, but I agree.
They match up. I think Jeremy wrote something this today about how it's a good matchup. The Eagles aren't good, and they're not good against the run. They have some issues. So we'll see. I'm excited. Goff can't make the pre-snap reads. He just doesn't go. He does all those facts, Steve-O. I agree on all those things. He doesn't really trust what he sees pre-snap. He definitely not go through his progressions. And
yeah, and I don't even know if his arm is strong enough to trust. Like I think he knows his arm is what it is too.
His arm's strong enough. Like his physical tools are there. It's just it's here. And then
those out routes though, where it's like, what do they cut to the sidelines to hit out of bounds? Like when he misses those, man, or can't doesn't have the arm strength to make them. It's just
so those are timing routes too. Like the vast majority of those times, and that's something that worries me. Is like he'll say things like, "Yeah, we got to get on the same page." Like it's week 8, man, or it's week 7. Like we gotta.
Yeah.
And that's T.J. Hawkinson. That's one of your best players. Like you better get on the same page. And so some of those timing routes, it seems like he just misses. And I go back to the Hawkinson, the wheel route against the Bengals. Remember the wheel route that he just missed?
But I turned that. Oh yeah, yep, yeah. I turned that one off the second half. I didn't turn it off, but I went to 7-Eleven with my nephew. He just got a car. I was like, let's go for a drive.
I don't blame you, man. I was just sitting there sad in Ford Field, typically. Just
you were there?
Oh yeah. So we're there every Sunday.
Okay.
Mm-hmm. Every
All
Sunday.
right, one last question. I'll let you get going. I apologize.
You good, bro. I'm in no rush.
The play in the Rams game where he missed Swift, it could have went for 6. Ultimately, I decided it was on Swift. That's my opinion. But what was your take on that one? Was it?
I think they both touched on it. Swift probably just needs to settle down there and settle his feet. In my opinion, though, from what I saw, Swift is he's an intelligent running back and he understands coverages, especially he's a good receiving back. And Swift, it's one of those option routes. And in my opinion, Swift was just leading Goff away from the defense a little bit, hey, throw it to me right here, because if he caught that, he's probably going to score. Yeah. I think he had one dude that he had to make miss maybe, and he's probably going to make a miss.
And I think he trucked him earlier in the game too.
Yeah, exactly. Broke him off that. Yeah. That looked like it hurt. Yeah, that's why you don't just lean in there like that cat did. But it looked like Swift tried to lead him to where he wanted him to go, and that's just not where Goff is right now. You kind of just, sadly, you kind of need to treat him like you would treat a younger quarterback right now. All right, I'm just going to settle down, hit me right here in the numbers. Stafford probably, and it sucks comparing him to Stafford, but Stafford's probably he's probably picking up on what Swift's putting down there and sees him he's leading him away from the bad stuff.
Yeah.
Even the Goff pick, right? He said Jalen Ramsey made a good play. And it looked like Brock Wright didn't run that post the way he was supposed to run it to give them a window. But that play wasn't even if Jalen Ramsey doesn't make that play, that wasn't there.
Yeah, it was a bad read.
That wasn't there. Live to play another down. That needs to go out of the back of the end zone, throw it away. It's every week with him though. It's a sack, whether it's a sack or it's a bad penalty. It's just things that a veteran quarterback doesn't need to be doing. It's just
absolutely, especially one with that cap hit too.
Exactly. And you made the point. You took it out of my mouth. It's the point we've been making. If he was only making X, Y, and Z, then it'd be a different conversation. But because he's making what he's making, it makes it. You can't have it.
Yeah, fuck that.
So,
hey man, I appreciate you for joining. And again, guys, he's with Pride Detroit, PrideDetroit.com. Morgan Cannon. You guys check all his articles out there. Soon, once he figured out the bootleg trick we were talking about before the show started,
yes,
I think he'll be breaking down some film for us once NFL gets that situated.
Yeah, man, they need to get Game Pass sorted out because it would be nice. The only people now that are really doing the thorough breakdowns are like you said, the ones with the bootleg VPNs, or just guys that have an in with the league and they're getting tape sent to them. Brandon Thorne's a really good. Brandon Thorne's a really good follow on Twitter.
Find him.
Trench warfare guy. So yeah, appreciate you having me on though, man. I'll definitely let me know. I enjoyed it, and you can definitely chop it up anytime.
Yeah, man. Maybe we'll do one with the Pistons one day. Have King in here or something.
For sure. Definitely down to talk some Pistons.
for sure. Steve, I just sent this. I'm gonna read it real quick. Goff is so frustrating. He passes up so many throws when guys are kind of covered, then throws an interception double coverage.
Yeah, and people, I think Steve, I broke that down last week. I think Jeremy did a piece where it's there. A couple like it's there, and there's kind of a misconception. Like some of these Goff defenders will say, like, oh, the Lions receivers think they're getting open sometimes. It's just he's just not wanting to push it down the field.
That should have pissed me off. The Goff defenders who say that dumbass shit because you freeze frame a play, and you can watch him only read the left side of the field or just the fucking first two reads, and then you have fucking all this shit over here.
Yep.
You can't defend that.
No,
Goff defenders are flat earthers. I don't.
Yeah, I know, man. I know that's kind of how. And I'm not, like I said, I'm not trying to pile on him. I'm sure he's a nice enough guy, but yeah, it's just not gonna. He's kind of filing into that. Like, there's quarterbacks that you win. They bring your team to wins, and there's quarterbacks that you can win with. And then there's quarterbacks that you can win in spite of, and that's kind of where Goff is at this point. Like, you have to, because he's going to end up doing things that kill you. And like Dan Campbell and everyone's talked about in Detroit for a couple of weeks now, the margin of error for the Lions is credit card thin. It's not much you can do. If you shoot yourself in the foot even halfway one time, it's going to be tough to overcome it unless you're playing. Hopefully. Like I said, I think they have a good shot this week. We'll kind of end it on some positivity. I think they have a good shot this week if they come in. Put it this way, if they play like they did against the Rams and compete and do the things they're supposed to do and maybe only have one or two boo-boos, I think they can win. I do.
Just run that damn ball.
Yeah, run the ball. Don't turn the ball over. Maybe get a turnover or two, which they've been okay at so far. Amani Oruwariye's had some nice plays this year. Tracy's almost had a couple.
Tracy got a hit stick this year, man. He been thumping.
That's Tracy. I'm interested to when they're going to start talking to Tracy about locking up a little extension. They can backload a contract. Give him a good chunk of guaranteed money right now, make him happy, and then his actual cap hit won't go up high until 2023, 2024. Something like that.
Is there anything like NBA where we have any type of not bird rights, but anything that we could offer him more as the team who drafted him?
No, I wish.
So he might be gone.
I know bird rights are nice. I wish in NBA. Well, I think he is happy here. And shoot, if they pay him market value, he's going to stay. It's basically it's a little different than the NFL than the NBA, in my opinion, just because if Tracy's the Lions are offering me 4 years at $48 million, 12 annually. I'm just spitballing here. He'll take it. It's just going to be. It's been looking long. He has, man. He's been looking really good, Steve-O. I agree. Turning a little corner, working with Aaron Glenn. I'm sure he likes being with Aaron Glenn and Aubrey Pleasant. That's something I'm sure he'd like to stay with. So.
Yeah, and I hope that Okudah bounces back from the Achilles. That stuff always makes you nervous because you got to be explosive in football and at the cornerback position, especially. Kevin Durant gives me a little bit of hope, but that's different.
Kevin Durant's a freakazoid, though. Kevin Durant's a demigod, in my opinion. That's a different situation.
He really is.
He is, man. 7 foot dude who can dribble and shoot.
Yeah.
I love Okudah. I like Okudah's personality. He seems like a good enough kid. Maybe he can play some safe. We'll see. I don't want to count him out, but it's tough. There's data that shows that Achilles are. It's tough.
All right, back on a high note. Eagles possible.
Yes.
Win, maybe.
Exactly. Maybe we can talk about a win in a couple weeks. That'd be cool.
Amen. I'll see you, brother. I appreciate you.
Yeah, appreciate you, man. We'll have you on anytime. We'll talk to you.
Yes, sir.